Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, everyone. Thank you so much for joining today's session on Monetize AI Learning, the Authorized Training Partner Advantage. I am Srishti, your moderator for this webinar, and I'm excited to guide you through a conversation that will give you a clear, actionable insights into how you can build, scale, and monetize AI learning in today's rapidly evolving landscape. As AI adoption accelerates across industries, organizations are racing to build true AI capability, not just awareness. And that's exactly where today's conversation will help you unlock both impact and opportunity. Without a further ado, let me introduce the speakers for today. We are honored to have with us Jeff Felice, the Chief Operating Officer for AI Certs, AI Labs 365, and Adoptify AI. Jeff brings over 30 years of global leadership across emerging technology certification and learning ecosystems. Prior to this, he served as a president of CertNexus, where he led initiatives to close the global AI and cybersecurity skills gap through internationally accredited credentials. He has scaled operations across 80 plus countries, contributed to global AI ethics and skills development frameworks, and serves on multiple boards related to credentialing and cyber education. Jeff is known for combining operational discipline with a passion for lifelong learning, innovation, and global impact. Outside of work, he's an avid cyclist and reader, always driving that perfect blend of performance and curiosity. We also have with us Ben Watson, the Chief Commercial Officer at AI Certs. Ben has spent his entire career building and scaling educational technology companies. He founded and successfully exited Scholars.com, which has acquired by Skillsoft and now leads global growth for AI Certs, the certification body setting the standard for role based AI readiness across industries worldwide. Ben is deeply passionate about helping organizations stop treating AI as just another buzzword and instead build measurable, practical, capability driven outcomes. Today, he'll shed light on how training partners can leverage AI search programs to drive real growth and real outcomes. With that, let's jump straight into today's discussion. Jeff, Ben, over to you.
Thank you
Perfect.
so much,
Thank you.
Houston.
All right. Happy Monday. Jeff, welcome to the team. Welcome to AI Certs. This is your first partner recruitment webinar.
Yes, it is, Ben. I'm so happy to be here. So I was just actually adding up the years that we've been in the industry. It's a lot of them. So
This is where you get into like decades and
you're right.
things like this, or half centuries or something crazy like that. Well, I wouldn't be a half century, but
Well, a quarter century at least. So yeah,
Oh my
great.
gosh. Well, I was
Yeah.
listening to your intro. You sound like a pretty smart guy. So it's the first time
Oh,
I've heard your webinar intro. So
oh, well, thank you, Ben, and same to you as well. And I want to welcome everyone today. As you know, this event is about and for you. So Ben and I have some PowerPoint slides that we're going to run through. But what we would ask is if you do have any uh, uh, chat or questions, put it in the chat. We'll answer those throughout the webinar as we see them come up, and also reserve time at the end for any additional questions as well. So really, really excited to be here. As Ben stated, I'm rather new to AI certs, but as you saw from my intro, I've been in the industry for over 3 decades now, and spent the last decade really focused on the credentialing space and much around that, around emerging technology, which was an emerging technology, and now it's emerged, right? Although we still have a lot of headroom for growth in how we go about implementing it. And that really brings us to the first slide. So for many of you, you probably have heard about AI. You may be using it in some capacity, whether that's, a simple, prompt at a chat GPT, or using Google Gemini or one of the other generative AI tools. You may have AI embedded into your work lives. It's obviously embedded in our home lives, right? Every time you pick up your phone, you're typically using some type of AI. But the fact is that we're still at the cusp of AI implementation, right? AI readiness. And that's really what the focus of AI Certs is helping organizations and individuals become ready for AI and allow essentially this machine capability to augment human capabilities. And so where does that result in? Well, it results in a lot of opportunity, right? So if you look at the scale of corporate training spend in the US market, it's expected to be 37 billion this year, right? That's almost a 10% growth that we've seen over the last several years, and that's going to continue to extend over the next handful of years, again, with that 9.1% annual growth rate. That much of that expansion is coming from the AI training market itself. The fact is that AI, as I shared, is embedded in many tool sets, right? So whether you're a cloud administrator, it's in Azure, AWS, Google Cloud Platform. You're in cybersecurity, right? It's in your cyber security tool suite, right? Think of tools like Wireshark, et cetera. But it's also coming out into the business. And again, that can be in some of those generative technologies we talked about, like Gemini and Copilot and others. Or it can be in other embedded in tool sets that we're using our CRM and our HRIS systems, et cetera. Right. But the fact is that we now need to have a better understanding of what AI is, right? AI is not going to replace jobs if people understand how to utilize AI. And that's where we're challenged as organizations and individuals is that AI talent gap, right? So one out of every two organizations report a significant skills gap, right? They want to deploy AI. They've actually purchased licenses. They have Copilot installed. But the fact is that people are using it for just essentially, to ask questions, right? They're not looking at, how do I redesign a workflow? How do I essentially allow my co-pilot to do the tasks that allow me to elevate my thinking, do more critical thinking, more engagement, with others, right? So, and that's what really the opportunity is we'll see for this group is, hey, there's a huge amount of spend that's happening. Much of that is shifting or growing with AI. And the fact is that organizations realize to move forward, they actually need to essentially address this talent gap.
So
You go
Jeff,
to the
let me
next slide.
jump
Yeah,
in.
go.
Now let me
Yeah,
jump in just for one. Congrats. You
sure.
just did your first slide. You did your first slide of your partner recruitment webinar. You know, now you're a seasoned pro. And just to reinforce for people that are late joining, there's a lot of people attending this webinar. Several have just come in. This is a partner recruitment webinar, right? AI Certs, we're a global certification body. There's 450 plus people working for AI Certs, which is crazy. But we need partners to help deliver our certification programs, the programs that get people ready to pass the courses. That's the goal of today's seminar. It's a recruitment seminar. We do these regionally. We do them, Asia Pacific time zones and Europe and Middle East, and this is the Americas, including Latin America. So we're using some regional data here. Jeff, the thing I liked is traditional corporate training spend 10% growth over the next couple of years. You look at the growth on the AI side of things, 25% growth. And then, like you said, it's the demand for AI knowledge is higher than the people that have the skill sets out there today. And like you said, it's not that AI is going to replace people. AI is replacing tasks, right? I mean, the new thing is, AI is not going to replace you. Someone using AI is going to replace you. And I think that was a really good, analogy because it kind of sets up the focus for us here in AI Search. So I just wanted to jump in and add some context. Here's the next one. Take us through this one. This is cool.
Yeah. And Ben stated that, and it is right now, the market is eager for these skills, right? We're at one of those inflection points for us that have been around long enough, right? We've seen these inflection points, right? When personal computers first hit corporate desktops, right? And then it was the advent of, the word processor and Excel, right? And then it moved on into the internet. And now, and then in the back end, it was cloud and then cybersecurity, et cetera. And now we're at one of those inflection points with the demand for AI skills. So if you can look at it, not only do organizations want to increase these skills, but employees also want more formal training, right? They are looking to organizations like yours to say, help me help ourselves. And as been stated, is they realize that if they don't adopt these skills, right, that they're not going to be able to then participate at the level they would like to in the workforce. So again, organizations want these, individuals want them, and the fact is that again, organizations are not realizing all the value they can from their AI implementations because again, they're lacking these skills, and not just the skills of hands-on skills, right? It's not just the practitioners that are your machine learning engineers and your data scientists. We're talking about executives, right? Having that fluency, right? The basic literacy or awareness. We're talking about project managers, product managers, people in HR, accounting, right? Whatever across the organization, all these roles need to essentially gain these critical skills to again drive measurable ROI.
Yeah, no, I think it's fascinating, and you hit the nail on the head, right? A lot of this is, you know, companies are rushing to roll out the AI, the technology, right, to get people to adopt the technology. And where companies very quickly start to struggle is the fact that they haven't adapted the people's work, right? And this is probably one of the biggest changes in this new AI era is it's not just a technology, right? It's not just another productivity tool. Fundamentally, if you use it correctly, it's going to reshape the way that you do your job. And the other thing is a lot of what I hear from our partners and their customers and even end users is not do I need some structured training, I need to get that validation done because increasingly in these companies that are rolling out their AI technologies, it's not just about getting people to adopt the technology and adapting their workflows, how they do their job. It's risky, when you use AI, right? It's a little bit unpredictable. It's almost becoming a compliance requirement. And I think we're gonna see this here in the US. We see this in Europe with the EU AI Act, where it's basically if any of your employees are using AI tools, they need to understand the fundamentals of AI. So this is driving a big need, not just for, formal training. No, it's not just watching videos. There needs to be some structure and reason behind it, but also pushing the fact that they need to measure people in terms of giving them kind of that benchmark as well. So fast, really interesting side of things. Small slide, but lots of good data behind it.
Yeah. And so, what are the challenges? Most recently, I was at a commercial training provider based in the US, and and I saw the struggle, right? It's the lack of differentiation, right? Again, and I know many of you are partners with large vendors like Microsoft, Cisco, some of the other vendor neutral partners, et cetera, and they all have quality offerings, right? But the fact is that those are becoming more crowded markets, more competitive, right? Not only from inside the partner channel, but outside the partner channel as well. And when it comes to AI, right, the fact is that this technology is new enough that you are going to have an opportunity to differentiate, and we'll talk more about that. Right, the high acquisition cost, right, of essentially acquiring a customer today. Right, the fact is that acquiring that Cisco customer, there's a high acquisition cost. You have pricing pressure, right, because there's so many partners that are offering a similar solution. Again, others that are not partners but offering competitive solutions. You can also look at online, right? We're all competing at some point with YouTube, although we shouldn't be, right? So, but the fact is that there's higher costs, and what we're seeing in the AI space is that some of these organizations aren't able to maintain the content that to essentially address the rapid change of AI, right? So great. That's, it's fantastic that, some of these partners are bringing content out, but by the time it hits the streets, that content is outdated. And as you'll learn more about AI certs, we're continuously curating our content. It goes through a rigorous initial development process. It's touched at least quarterly, if not sooner. You'll see evolving tool sets, evolving concepts, principles. It's been alluded to as new laws and regulations come into place. Those get integrated. New concepts like agents, also, etc. So again, trying to keep that content updated. Again, we all know too that training, right? Whenever you can train to a credential, it increases the opportunity for the initial sale. It increases the opportunity to retain have higher price points with better margins, and right, we're also delivering greater value to the organization. Right, that credential is proving and verifying knowledge and skills in their organization that they can then utilize on projects and other initiatives. And we realize that some of you have very bifurcated or highly divided sales and marketing engines, and some may not have them, right? And that's one of the things that you'll learn about AI Certs is we partner with you, right? As Ben noted, is that our primary method to reach an end user is through our partner channel. And how we do that is enabling you. And so you'll see whether that's from a marketing perspective, from a sales enablement, all the way to joining you on sales calls, ensuring that you feel effective in communicating the value of the AI Certs proposition to your end customer and solving their problems with the combined solution. Ben, anything you'd like to add here?
Yeah, I mean, just to reinforce it, right? We continue to have people coming in to the webinar. The chat's getting a little popular, so we're trying to summarize things and give more kind of bulk updates. A lot of people asking, like, this sounds really interesting. What's the link? And we put the link in the chat to our different partner programs. But for those late joining us, this is our partner recruitment webinar, right? Jeff is taking us through what is the demand for AI training. I'll take you guys through kind of the different partner programs we have, the learner experience, and then the partner enablement journey and things like this. But we are a global credentialing body, and we are focused on leading through our partners, like Jeff said. I think the biggest takeaway from this slide, Jeff, is just right at the top, right? The rate of change for AI, both in terms of its adoption as a technology by companies and its ever increasing ability to increase what it can do, right, is what's really breaking apart the traditional old school method, right? This isn't, if you're in the IT world, this isn't, moving from the on-premise world to the cloud, and there's this big shift to, a new set of technologies and things like this. This is fundamentally a new way of working. And that new way of working, these AI technologies are rapidly changing as well. So big demand sitting on top of a continuous rate of change. But Jeff, let's get you to finish up this section on why we should get all excited about this.
And if you look at the, why does this moment belong to partners, right? The fact is we're started to establish that the spend on AI itself is skyrocketing, right? The fact is we've established that skills are not at keeping pace with the technologies, and organizations are looking to partners to provide value-based solutions that include training and credentialing that allows them to fill that gap. Right. So again, we look at this, the AI spending surge, right? Last year alone, there was over $550 billion spent by US corporates on AI, right? That number is only increasing, right? There's no drop off, right? If anyone saw NVIDIA report their Q3 earnings last week, right? They're outpaced their earnings, and they're going to do so again the next quarter. The adoption, right? 42% of organizations. So think about that. 1 out of every 2 organizations are actively using generative AI in sales and marketing at minimum, right? So think about that. almost every organization, if you talk to 10 organizations in a week, half of them are likely to actually be using generative AI already. And that's only one of many AI technologies. The skills evolution speed, right? The fact is that the skills evolve faster, right? It's no longer do you have this shelf life of I develop a skill and that skill's good for 3 to 5 years, right? And maybe 3 to 5 months, right? So the fact is you have to, continuously skill, right? This concept of a lifelong learner. And the fact is, also the partner revenue multiplier, right? So the fact is that every dollar, right, is going to generate that spent is generating, we're seeing $8 to $10, right? So think about that. There's a significant opportunity, and as Ben's going to talk about, right, it's opening up the aperture, right? It's going in, and we realize sometimes it's hard to move away from that transactional, that vendor deal that you're already doing. But as you start to widen the scope, right, if someone's implementing Azure, are they doing it because they're essentially need to expand their capabilities to store and process data because they're moving towards implementing AI? Are they already a Microsoft house and have Copilot already implemented? If so, ask the question: how are they utilizing it today? Are they actually affecting their workflows, et cetera, right? So these are all things that we'll talk more about. But all of this comes back to the fact is this is an opportunity for you as partners to expand your capabilities, and really delivering more value to your end clients as well.
Perfect. Well, one thing I would say, just so far in this webinar, is I love the data that sits behind your slides, Jeff. Everyone will get a copy of the recording and so on afterwards. But even in your early slides, right, there's kind of the little links to the data, because the numbers seem so big and they seem so good. Maybe they're a little bit harder to true, but I think you outlined it pretty good. I actually like the bullet point, the second from the bottom. Ongoing AI changes, um, all these ongoing AI changes create recurring revenue, right? This is a continuous AI readiness journey. And I think that really sets things up in terms of when someone says, hey, what's AI certs focused on, right? We don't do deep technical training. Like, that's what the vendors do, right? What we do is we help companies and individuals and teams get ready for AI. We're really focused on that AI readiness because we think that's a growing gap, because so many roles and so many industries really don't understand what AI is, right? If you're a technical person, right, you probably live and breathe these technical changes on a regular basis. But if you're someone who's in sales or marketing or HR, all these roles that are common inside an organization, they're the ones that really need that readiness. So they understand the context, they have that practical knowledge. But let's shift gears a little bit, right? So one was just the growing demand, right? AI is rapidly being adopted, driving a need for skills. The need for those skills, increasingly companies are like, this stuff's risky, okay? We need some validated outcomes. We need something that's certification backed, right? We don't want our guys watching videos. We don't want our guys, doing quizzes. It's a little bit too risky. Very exciting in terms of these new capabilities to help us do our jobs better, but it's a little risky. We need something a little bit more rigorous, right? Now, for us, when we went to market, we quickly realized there's different types of partners, right? So given the size of this audience today, there's probably several of you in each of these different categories, but there's 4 different types of partner programs, right? One is our commercial training partners, or authorized training partners, or ATPs, right? They're the ones that do the bread and butter instructor-led training. They do e-learning. They do, blended, so they can do enterprise solutions. They're the commercial providers. On the right-hand side, you have the corresponding academic partners, authorized academic partners, or AAPs, universities, colleges, things that are really focused on getting people coming out of education and preparing them for the world. These programs are different. The pricing is different. The go-to-market support is different. The marketing support and different because the needs of those end users for the ATPs and the AAPs are different. Now, sitting on top of that, or underneath, I guess, according to this slide, is we have association partners and affiliates. Now, these are new types of programs not often seen in the training industry, but association partners are industry bodies, professional associations, organizations structured around a common goal. They have a membership. The reason why we have a program for them is like Jeff said earlier, when you think about AI is used differently by every person in their role. That makes sense, right? The HR person is going to use AI tools quite differently than the legal or the marketing person, but the use of AI also varies quite significantly by industry, right? The healthcare industry is using AI differently than the construction industry versus the mining industry. In those industries, there's associations. Those associations is one way that we're getting our AI readiness certification programs out to those that need it. The last one is pretty interesting. Affiliate partners. If you ever think about affiliates, these are typically smaller organizations, very purpose built, very focused, and they make money based on commission. So they often will have links point to our online store where we sell e-learning, and they simply do things, and it's amazing. Like I saw, some TikTok videos over the weekends where, these people, these influencers are talking about the need to get ready for AI, get ready for the world that's changing already, and we have the affiliate programs. Now, you can see under each one of these descriptions just the way they make the revenue, right? ATPs, they buy the courses from us and then they deliver it. Maybe they deliver it with an instructor, maybe they deliver it self-paced. Increasingly, they're doing enterprise-wide solutions, which is a mixture of live instructor-led and self-paced courses. On the academic side, they're making money from adding it on top of their existing career pathways, their programs, their certificates, their degrees, and things like this. They often require things like site licensing and things like this. Whereas associations, the ones, I probably have met, gosh, in the last week, 3 new ones, and they're always looking to add value to their members. And 2, they're also looking ways to increase their revenue because many associations just make it their revenue from their program fees. So they're trying to find that how do we get our members ready for this world of AI? And then how do we also increase our revenue that then helps them fund all the activities of that association or that membership program? All right, continuing on, everyone says, well, okay, this is great. So what do you guys offer, right? Now, you may recall at the beginning, I was saying there's over 450 people that work for AI Certs. We're one of the largest accreditation bodies in the world, and we're unique in terms of focusing really around AI and really around AI readiness. So we have our certification team that follows this ISO standard, and it's pretty rigorous. You have to do market research, job task analysis, skills blueprinting, objective domains, write the courses, get them ready, write the exams so they can become certified. Well, all that means is every month we're coming out with new certifications. In fact, if you go to our website, aicerts.ai, there's a link to our roadmap, and it's just impressive the number of things that are coming out. Today, we're at 54, 56 certifications. This slide, I always keep it just at 50 plus because it changes a lot. I think the team was telling me they're coming out with 17 new certifications over the next 30 days. It's like, whoa, what is that? Well, that's because, like I said earlier, so many roles are being impacted in so many different industries. You really need to create role-focused certifications. Now, the way to think about this, right, is there's different views of our portfolio, right? You can view it by practice area and things like this. This view, for the purpose of this webinar, is there's 50 plus certification programs that our partners deliver. They deliver it as instructor-led. It includes the exam. They deliver it as e-learning. It includes the exam. Notice, regardless of the method of your course delivery, it includes the exam. One thing that I like around our offerings. The other thing is many of these offerings are 1 day or 8 hours long. And this is because they're designed for the working professional. That's the left hand of this screen. Business and learning education, these are 1 day courses. Now, of course, we have the technical people and they need to go deeper. We have on the right-hand side corresponding 5 day courses or 40-hour e-learning courses, right? They take you much further down that technical path. The left-hand side is about giving you the practical knowledge. Now you can see here, just from the groupings, the two most popular categories that we have is essential and business. Essential is when we work with partners and their customers, the customers often say, I need to get everyone inside my company ready. What's the fundamentals that they need? Well, we have AI Plus for everyone, AI Plus for executives, the leaders. We have AI Plus prompt, effective prompting. These are kind of the core skills that people need. They're 1 day courses. And then they say, this is great. Okay, so, they're taking AI Plus everyone, but, I have a sales team and a marketing team. Great. We have AI Plus sales. We have AI Plus marketing. You can see in that business category, many of the common roles within an organization are found in that business category. Now, if you keep reading down through, and I'm not going to spend a lot of time because this stuff's up on the website, I just want to give you a sense of the breadth and the depth of the offerings. Is if you go look down at that specialization, for example, you're going to see things like AI plus healthcare. That is one of the industries that we're focused on. So we have, these job focused certifications for the standard organization with the standard roles. And then we go deeper into industries like healthcare. Now, not only do they have the standard roles like we all do, sales and marketing and HR and finance and legal, they have very industry specific roles. Doctor, nurse, healthcare administrator, medical assistant. This allows our partners to go into any healthcare organization and say, we can move everyone in your organization to get them ready for AI, to give them that practical knowledge as the company starts to roll out the vendor selected tools that they did. Maybe it's Microsoft Copilot, maybe it's, Google Gemini. We're that bit before that. We're about getting them ready on their side of things. All right, lots of chats happening. I know we're trying to summarize these things for you, but when we think about this, right? One is okay, regardless of the partner program, right? An authorized training partner, an academic partner, an association or affiliate, partner, how do I as a partner, make money from these things, right? Well, one is you can, essentially take our e-learning courses and sell them, right? Very popular way of learning. They include that certification exam, right? You can take and deliver the instructor-led courses. That's a little bit different because in that case, you're buying, I call them courseware kits for your learners, right? And you deliver them as a scheduled class. Maybe it's a public class or a private class. And then increasingly, they kind of blend the two together. If they're doing a customer specific solution and it's enterprise wide, then often they need to go and think about things from I need, a little bit of IoT for this group, and I need a lot of e-learning for the broader groups, and they're doing this blended side of things. The biggest thing in this kind of monetization model is whenever I talk to partners, I stress get to a customized solution. This is not about generic training, okay? AI is never used generically. AI is always role specific, team based, industry focused as well, right? And then here you can do, different upskilling programs and things like this. So different ways of thinking about how you can monetize all these offerings. Now, take a breath. Jeff, anything to add on that before I go into the learner experience?
Yeah, I think to your point, Ben, is we are immersed now in this world where essentially it's not only one modality, right? We're in this multi-modality world. I know we'll talk more about that later, but that's really where partnering with AI Certs allows you to excel. You're not locked into a single modality in a partnership program.
Yeah, no, great insight. And I think that ability to customize is going to be critical in the world of AI, right? Just like you said, every organization, they say it all the time, oh, my needs are different. Well, when it comes to rolling AI, your AI solution, your technology is going to be used differently. I threw in here just a copy of our portal, right? This is the learning portal. There's a dashboard of all your users and the exams and courses they're taking and things like this. But I like the resource library, literally hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of documents that support our partners, whether it's course outlines and logos and PDFs, all the way to marketing images, um, marketing videos. Everything on the marketing side is done in Canva, which means you can open up and edit it. But you can even just see here, when I did this a few days ago, it's just, the stuff you see here is the latest updates, right? Updates to integration documents, our video guide, and things like this. But lots of resources in that partner um, portal, as we call it. This is important. Jeff talked about this before. When things are moving so quickly, we need partners that are focused on finding those individuals, those teams, those organizations that recognize the need to get ready for AI. We support them not just with that marketing that I talked about before, but also around sales enablement. We have these things called battle cards for every course, right? Designed for the sales team, kind of 1 or 2 pages long. What is this course about? What is the audience? What's the key value they're going to get out of it? What's the landscape look like? And then if you're, an affiliate, you get some special support because you're not really delivering, you're referring people back to the e-store. This is the low lift commission-based side of things, right? You get like 30%. Anytime someone visits the store, you get 30%. That's great if you're small, right? And then on the other side, around the operational support, it's not just about giving you that marketing support, the sales support. It's trying to make you as operationally simple as possible, right? So if you're doing the delivery of instructor-led training or the e-learning, your learners have access to the AI Certs learning portal, right? Your trainers have access to a training portal, right? So if you're keeping track, there's 3 portals: partner portal, learning portal, trainer portal, right? These are all examples of giving different audiences the support that they need. And then unique on the operational support side of things is we have partner success managers. They're all about working with their partners to get them onboarded, enable, and then helping them grow as they get deeper inside this world, right? So, goal of this slide is just to go and say it's not a one and done thing. This is why we have 450 people inside this company. They're not just creating certifications; they're out there supporting our partners as well. Now, this is kind of a different view from what Jeff, you had mentioned earlier, just, instant brand credibility. AI certs increasingly is getting recognized throughout the world, fast and moving. We offer the role-based certifications, and the fact that we can get you to market fast means that you can start acquiring customers faster. The customer acquisition cost, or the CAC, as they call it. And then the complete solution in terms of here's a course that includes an exam. really helps to convince people that this isn't just like again, I always use the video with the quiz, right? Which really annoys me generally, and it really annoys me when it comes to AI, because companies and individuals need more than that. And of course, in the end, this is all about helping people do their job better, either in terms of finding a job, doing their current job in a better way, or getting promoted, right? Now, with all these things, I mentioned it earlier, biggest thing is 50 plus certifications right now, dozen plus coming out every month. I'm told the certification team, their build capacity is like 30 certifications every 90 days or something crazy like that. All I know is, I mean, we're doing AI plus, which is the name of our certification programs, AI plus mining, AI plus real estate, AI plus healthcare, AI plus construction, all these standard roles, all these specialized roles. Everyone in the world is going to be impacted to a degree by AI. I've never seen it before. Now, I'm not going to spend a lot of time on this in so much as I just like the bottom right hand corner, right? Um, 100 plus certifications, right? Um, a global networks of certified instructors, both affiliated with their partners and also what we call the independent instructors that our partners use versus using their own full-time instructors. There were over 500 of those. I already said we have 50 plus certifications. 170 plus, we're now at like 190 plus. Some of these are huge partners, and then some of these are very specialized partners as well. Now, keeping this in mind, I just wanted to circle back and mention, the goal here is different programs with different partner programs with different benefits, right? ATPs, AAPs, the academics, the association, and the partners, right? The key thing is if you don't fit into one of these four, let me know. But we have four different partner programs to make sure that we're meeting your needs. This isn't just some little small company saying it's one way or the other. It's just e-learning or just instructor led, or you got to go and buy the courses and then you got to buy the exams. This is one of the reasons why we're growing so fast, is because we're taking the time to make sure this is scalable for our partners to go and do. Now, the interesting thing is people are like, okay, this is great. So big market demand, four different types of partners, lots of different ways to, make money as a partner, delivering instructor led, selling the e-learning, combining them together for enterprise solutions. What's that experience, look like? Here, this is, where we talk about the exam, right? Because in the end, we're a certification body, right? Every course has an online proctored exam. Okay, it's video based. It is uh, recorded on what we call the blockchain. All that means is it's kind of a public ledger where both employers and others can go and verify that you took this exam, right? It's cannot be altered. It's fraud proof. It typically has 50 multiple choice, multiple response, different item types, as we call them within it. And then in the end, in the bottom left-hand corner, you see the certification that you get, the credential. And you notice in the bottom right-hand corner of that credential, you're going to see that QR code. This is how people can go and scan that QR code and see that Ben Watson took this exam on this date, and this certification is still valid. It's not been revoked. It hasn't, expired and things like this. And I love the fact that you can prepare for the exam in two ways, instructor-led or self-paced, take the exam, online proctored, and then get this, I don't know, secure, verifiable, portable certification. It's portable because it stays with you. It actually kind of goes in what they call, a wallet, so that whether you leave an organization these certifications you get stay with you as well. Now, I've spoken a lot around what we give you, right? What partners need to have is, this isn't a fly-by-night solution, right? It takes a commitment. It takes monetary commitment, marketing commitment, it takes people commitment, and all the rest. Ideally, the partner already has an audience, right? If you don't have an audience, then at least know the type of audience you want to go after and have access to that audience, right? If you want to start from scratch, that's great. This is why we have things like the affiliate program and so on. But for our more sophisticated customers who are really in that skilling space, right? You need to have an understanding capabilities already in place. Now, interest in the AI tech training space, yes, because you're going to have to go and talk to customers about what AI is. What are these different certifications? How do you mix and match them and all the rest? And then the key thing is being able to take advantage of the things that we offer you, right? The support infrastructure, the portals, the customer success manager, all those resources. Those are the kind of the four things that in order to become successful becomes important from a partner point of view. I often, not, I don't know, often, I turn away partners who are just looking to get another badge, right? I just want another badge. I got Microsoft, I got, Google, I got all these badges on my website. I want to get another badge. We're not looking for partners that are looking for a badge. We only sign up partners that are willing to put in the time and the effort to actually go after this AI readiness opportunity. Okay. We're interested in quality, not quantity, when it comes to our partner program. Now, what does this all mean? Well, if you haven't, got a sense of it yet, not only is AI, the technology, constantly evolving and changing its capabilities, right? The rate of change is continuous. We view things the same way with their partner program. This is about getting our partners enabled and active ASAP. In fact, most of the time, it's the partners that slow us down. You know, if you're ready to move quickly, we have this big extensive team to do it. You can start to see here just looking at our training and academic partners. What do? You go to the website. I think they put the link in the chat. I haven't seen the chat for the last 15 minutes. You go, you sign up the partner form, right? Our partner team reviews it. We come to an agreement. We kick off the onboarding and a series of partner enablement work streams happen, right? We get your sales team ready. We get your marketing team ready. We get your operations team ready, and you get going, right? Association partners are a little bit different, right? Often the association partners are focused on offering benefits to their membership. Often those benefits is maybe them selling the e-learning programs. We're offering discounts on the e-learning programs. That tends to be a little bit of a faster approach. And you can see there just that box in the middle. The wording and the outcomes are different, right? Getting us added to your membership portal, getting the launch campaigns, adding us and rolling us out in your newsletters. There's a whole go-to-market program that we put in place for each of these different types of partners. The affiliate program is probably the fastest way, in so much as you're referring people over to our website, our e-store, and anything they buy, you get like a 30% commission. It's quick, it's easy. You focus more on the marketing side of things because the sales is handled through the e-commerce engine on our store. I don't recommend for everyone. It's good if you're small, but if you're medium or large, you're going to need the more sophistication around the marketing assets, the webinars, the sales support, the operational support, and things like this. 3 different things. I always like to challenge partners to try and start generating revenue within the first 30 days, right? Many of them do it. And if they don't do it, they do it just because they're trying to get caught up on our side, getting their website enabled, adding us to their e-commerce solution or something like this, right? Now, if you're a training partner, we often request a prepay of a couple of $1,000s. A prepay is just you prepay it and then you use it to buy from us. That's a demonstration from the authorized or commercial training partner. Um, Academic partners, we typically don't have a prepay fee. Um, you know, Associations and affiliate, we don't have a prepay fee. We're just looking, like I said earlier, commitment from a sales and marketing point of view, right? If you don't have a sales engine or a marketing engine, you're probably not going to get approved, right? If you're an association or affiliate side of things. Now, the key thing is we don't do printed books and things like this. The whole technology is changing too quickly. We're updating the courses and the exams too quickly on those things. It's all digital courseware for instructor led, it's all digital e learning for those self paced courses. And then on the marketing side of things, I mentioned before, I really like it, the Canva co-branding. Um, uh, Everything is a Canva template, right? So Canva is just this big popular marketing tool. Um, and it just makes it really easy to go and add your logo, change the text as needed, and really do that instant co-branding side of things. Now, if we, think our way through it, right, there's an awesome opportunity here. But Jeff, I haven't heard you speak for a long time because I haven't asked for feedback from you. I'm sure you have a whole bunch of comments piled up. What are your thoughts about what I just said?
Yeah, Ben, I think, again, going back to the core tenets of this, right, is that the opportunity is significant, right, for a training provider, whether you're, a commercial, academic, affiliate, even an association, right? Again, we're at one of those inflection points for skills. And, it is that early first to market opportunity, right? I think, again, if many of us, we've been in the industry, if you go back, you would have loved to have been one of the first cloud training providers or one of the first cybersecurity training providers, or keep on going back, right? One of the first, right? And this is an opportunity. Although again, we do have 175 plus partners, again, the industry still is at a nascent phase. And I think it's been shared with us, right? As we're here to support you, right? We're not going to ask you to sign an agreement and then send you off on your merry way, right? We're going to be behind you, right? We have, as Ben mentioned, multiple portals, right? Whether you're a trainer, whether you're a marketing professional, sales enablement training, all the way through, how assisting you in engagements directly as well. So again, our opportunity is to work with you, and your opportunity to grow your business and better serve your clients or gain access to prospective clients is in a partnership with AI Certs. And the last thing I'll say is, and Ben touched on this, and what's really unique about AI Certs is the fact that we do have not only kind of those AI foundational for everyone type solutions or for the technical professional, but that we also are doing industry and role-based solutions as well. That's a really unique opportunity because now again, and then having the ability to even tailor beyond that, but essentially going in and delivering solutions, again, as Ben stated, AI is typically not just deployed generically like you would to some degree, like, Azure or AWS, et cetera, right? Those are configured, but AI is going to be almost proprietary to each organization. How do you prepare that organization based on their industry and the roles that are participating in projects?
No, Jeff, fascinating comments. I mean, obviously, you and I were drinking the Kool-Aid, right? I mean, we
Yeah.
work for AI Certs. We're, arguably a little bit biased, but I would like to reiterate, two key things because one is AI is used differently in different roles by different teams in different industries. And I think one, that is, a blessing and a curse, right? The blessing is every person uses AI in a way that meets their own needs, right? I often say, the legal person is using it to help them with, case research and looking up citations and things like this, where the finance person is using it to help them analyze numbers and financial models and things like this. The project manager is, using it in a different way to help them augment their project management responsibilities. That's the blessing, right? Because the person gets something unique to them. The curse, or the challenge, maybe is a better word, is it does require different types of training programs and certifications, right? And you hit the nail on their head. Many companies roll out a tool, ChatGPT from OpenAI or Microsoft Copilot from Microsoft, right? They roll it out to the company, and then they struggle with, well, people are using it maybe a little bit, they're adopting it, but they're not changing the way that they work. And then they go and speak to the people and they say, hey, you're in HR, you're in legal, why aren't you using the tool more? And they're like, I don't understand the context, I don't understand what AI is. I'm used to Microsoft Office and things like this. And I think companies very quickly now realize, one, it's role specific, and then two, it's always going to be changing. Like, we didn't get much into, um, kind of a roadmap and things like this. But we just recently, over the last 90 days, we updated all of our courses to add in a module on AI agents. Because starting 6 months ago, AI agents started to be the next evolution of AI. It started to shift from Gen AI or generative AI, where tools like ChatGPT and so on were helping to generate answers and things like this and generate videos and graphics, to now you see the rise of agents. So all of our courses that you see listed here, they have a module on AI agents. And in fact, we're even releasing agent-specific courses. Just like someone needs to get ready for AI, if I'm in marketing, I'm gonna, if I'm in, legal, I'm gonna do AI plus legal. Well, now my company has rolled out all these tools. Now they're rolling out agents. We now have an AI plus legal agent, right? You can actually see it here at the end of that business category on the left, AI plus legal. So we're constantly expanding, what we're offering. And then the last thing is, I really think the industry and the governments and the regulatory bodies are starting to realize this is serious stuff, right? If you don't know how to use Microsoft PowerPoint, effectively, okay, well, that's bad for you and you're not as productive as you should be, but, it's not all that serious, right? When it comes to AI tools, because it has such a profound potential impact in how you do your job, a lot of governments and regulatory bodies are saying we really view this as a compliance issue. Kind of like cybersecurity, Jeff. Back in the day, right? We've been around for a long time. Cybersecurity, started off as, we need to make sure that employees don't get hacked. We want to make sure that they're, proactively educated. And this whole rise of cybersecurity training for employees came about. Well, nowadays it's hard to get, insurance, business insurance if you're a company, if you can't demonstrate that your employees have gone through some kind of basic cybersecurity training. 100%, I see this happening over the next 12 months for people using AI.
Yeah.
What do you think about that?
Yeah, Ben, I agree. It is. I mean, it's, I think, two reasons, right? One is, obviously internal compliance, right? So we know that people are utilizing these platforms, but I do agree that there's going to be demands of external pressures as well, right? Whether we start to see things like the EU AI Act, um, and other similar legislation, or industry uh, requirements as well, right? We saw, for example, about cybersecurity, right? PCI DSS and others that have also done that for cyber. I think, again, to your point, I think that's going to spill over to AI, and it's happening quickly.
I think it's interesting what you just said too, because you're right. It's more than just compliance. It's, the ability for companies to audit themselves, right? That internal side of things. And one of the biggest things I hear nowadays is governance, AI governance, right? Just that whole framework of the guardrails, AI acceptable use policies, and things like this. It's a big space, and there's a lot of training, there's a lot of skilling, there's a lot of certification, there's a lot of wraparound services that can happen in that space. And I think this is one of the reasons why, gosh, we're at 170, 190 partners. We literally targeting thousands because the sheer breadth and depth of the scope of change, from roles to teams to companies to all these different industries. It's a fundamental change to the way that we think things. Now, I got distracted. I got excited. Sorry, I got to get us back on track because we got to wrap this thing up. One, if anything that we said here is of interest to you from a partnership point of view, there's links I think that they put into the chat. Go to the website, pick your program, we'll reach out to you, and we're going to call you, right? If you're an association partner, same thing. And if an affiliate, there's a direct sign up link for you as well. But it's pretty interesting times. I have not seen the rate of adoption and the continuous change ever. And I've grown up in the internet world and the cloud world and all the rest, but this is a fundamental change for us. Now, it is top of the hour, and I want to thank everyone who showed up. Big audience. If we didn't answer your questions, send us an email or reach out to us. We can answer the ones that we couldn't. But thank you for taking time out of your day. Thank you very much for listening to us on this Monday. And let's wrap things up because we're a minute over. My
Yeah.
mistake.
Thank you so much, Jeff and Ben, for the insightful walkthrough. And I would like to thank all of you for joining us today and for being such an engaged audience. You will be receiving your participation certificates and the full session recording shortly after this webinar. If you'd like to explore training partnerships, AI certification paths, or becoming an authorized training partner, feel free to connect with us. You have already received all the links in the chat box. If not, you can just drop us an email and we'll be happy to help. On behalf of AI Certs and the entire team, thank you so much once again for joining us today.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.